how do you feed the world while improving and restoring the environment? Can you just elaborate on it? Is it possible to do both?
Absolutely. Very important. Take the case of India. Obviously, you are very young. I remember when I was at Ludhiana in 59, 60, 61, 62, Green Revolution was just starting. The food production in India in 1947 at the time of partition was 50 million ton. The population was about 330 million people. Right now, population is 1.4 billion, but the food grain production in India is 3 billion tons. So that's 300 million tons. Sorry, take it back. 300 million tons. 3 billion tons is global, 300 million tons. So food production has gone up at a higher rate than that of population. So India has achieved food security. Unfortunately, our soils have been degraded tremendously. The soil organic matter content, which in Ludhiana soil, when I was a student there, could be 1%, 1.5%. Now it's 0.1%, 0.2%. Throughout northwestern India, Punjab, Haryana, UP, even southern India, Chennai, and other states, organic carbon has been seriously depleted by erosion, water, wind, salinity, because our farmers take away everything from the soil. So the question now is how to increase production while at the same time restore soil health and the environment. It has to be done. It cannot be either or. So we must stop misusing the soil. We must return things to the soil that improve soil health and at the same time increase production. The production of Indian grain crop yield, even in Punjab, can be doubled with lower input if the soil health is improved. And that's exactly what we want to do.
So thank you so much. That's very optimistic of what we can do if we improve our practices. And you have also, I have read, you have also talked about that healthy soils is not just the usual nutrients of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. It's also about depleted carbon restoration with crop residue incorporation and other strategies. So do you think this fertile soil strategy that you're advocating is opposite of the colonial food systems that rely heavily on nutrients and chemical fertilizers, or rely heavily on herbicides? Or do you think they can work together?
Thank you, Ajay. Again, that's a very good question. One thing first, let me begin by stating that the health of soil, plants, animal, people, environment, and the planet is one and indivisible. If the health of soil goes down, the health of plant decreases, health of animal raised on it decreases, people who eat the food grown on unhealthy soil, and of course the planet itself. So that's one part you must remember. There's a continuity. The second part is when people are desperate, miserable, starving, and hungry, they pass their sufferings to the land. When land is degraded, people's health is not good. And when people are suffering, land health is not good. There's the interconnectivity between them. And this vicious cycle we must break. So, in terms of improving soil health, yes, it is not a question of adding just nitrogen, phosphorus. Chemicals are not substitute for good health. When we want to irrigate continuously, it's not a substitute for improving water holding capacity of the soil. When we plow the land, it's not a substitute to losing soil bulk density, porosity. It's becoming porous medial through biological activity of the soil. And therefore, the biological activity for a good, healthy soil should be about 3% organic matter content, 4% organic matter content. If you talk about carbon, 1.5% organic carbon content, 2% organic in the root zone, plow layer, 20 centimeter. So if we improve the soil organic matter content from 0.1% now to 1.5%, which may take 20 to 25 years, a generation, then the dependence and need for additional chemicals, additional flood-based irrigation, pesticide use will automatically decrease.
So that's
And
that's
this transformation should happen.
that's an interesting point to put forward. Yeah, you will also recall that David Montgomery from University of Washington said
Washington.
that social, cultural, and economic systems can trap, encourage, and require farmers to treat their lands in a way that they do not preserve soil over a long period of time in order to earn their livelihoods and stay as farmers. So the question is this whole idea of driving down farm gate prices to make it affordable for consumers, is that one of the hindrances that farmers don't get a higher price so they can adopt better practices? Do you
I
think it
think
is in contradiction with each other?
I think we have tried to produce as cheap a food as possible, uh, so that the masses can get, especially the urban population, can get cheap food. Unfortunately, that also means the soil being degraded. We are not reinvesting back in soil restoration. So there should be a label on the food. What is the environmental footprint? What's the carbon footprint of a kilogram of wheat atta, or a kilogram of rice, or a kilogram of whatever snack bar we might get? And farmers should be rewarded according to the nutritional quality and health of the food. Take another example. If we are producing 3 tons of wheat per hectare, and we have a soil erosion problem of 10 ton per hectare, or we have created salinity, or we have decreased the groundwater level by 1 meter, those depletion of the natural resources should be compensated to the farmer through the price of the food consumed. So having a cheap food and degrading the quality of the environment and the soil resources and not compensating farmer properly is not a good policy. But we must resolve this issue, political issue, through dialogue, through understanding, through mutual respect. And that is the way the problem should be solved. The problem of biophysical issue of soil degradation, of climate change, becoming soil becoming a source of greenhouse gases, of water pollution, depletion. These are biophysical processes, but they are driven by social, economic, political, and cultural factors. And we
So
must somehow address. And that's what David Montgomery was mentioning.
also mention, so in the US you have advocated a soil act to complement the existing clean water quality and air quality acts. So what is the one policy recommendation you will have for UN member states to adopt collectively and in India? And this becomes even more important because we have a UN Food Systems Summit which is coming up next year. So
Yes.
what would be your policy recommendation for that?
Thank you. First of all, let me congratulate you. I feel very proud that you coming from Punjab and being head of the Farmer Association. You are being co-chair of one of the working group, one of the session. And I am really proud to be part of that with you sharing it. That's a very good recognition. Congratulations for
Thank
that.
you. Thank you so
The
much.
other part which I should mention is that, yes, in the US we have two acts, 1960s and 70s. We have a Water Quality Act and Air Quality Act, but we do not have a Soil Quality Act. So I've been talking to various scientific fora that we need a soil quality. And it really comes back to our Punjab culture. You know, in Gurbani, we have a very nice quotation, Paun Guru, Pani Pita, Mata Dhart Mahat. In one simple sentence, three critical natural resource elements are linked together. Paun, Guru, wind, Pani, Pita, water, Mata, Dhart, Mahat, Mother Earth. All those three linked together. So how is it possible to have a clean water and clean air without having healthy soil? So I wrote an article, Rights of Soil and Soil Quality Act. We need in the US a Soil Quality Act. And I'm very pleased to say that last June, 4 senators from throughout the country, one of them is from Indiana, here nearby, they have proposed a growing soil growing climate resolution act. It's being discussed. And they are talking about soil carbon sequestration as one of the option, forest carbon sequestration as another option. In India also, we need these kind of acts. We need to protect our soils. Soils are very finite resource. Soils are easily degraded if improperly managed, and that has what has happened since 60 to now, over the last 60 years. We must reverse this degradation trend, and through policy and through legislation. But all of this should be pro-farmer, pro-nature, and pro-poor population. And through the dialogue in which farmers are respected and rewarded appropriately. But if farmers do not do proper things, they should not be rewarded. And I think that's the policy that we must follow. There is a time to go back to our scriptures. Does not matter what religion, all religions say that. But at the same time, go back to science and adopt science which is pro-farmer, pro-nature, and pro-poor.
So thank you for that, because you have emphasized on it that farmers must adopt good practices and they must be paid for it. Now, when you
Exactly.
talk about soil health and air quality, let's come to India about the crop residue problem we have here. And it is a problem, and it is leading to pollution in the villages and in Delhi, and this creates a hue and cry. So when you think in a food systems approach, Jeff Bezos has recently given the Nature Conservancy $100 million as a part of which is to be used to reduce the carbon footprint of farming in Northwest India. Are there any soil focused actions you would like to see Nature Conservancy, CIMET, and the government take? Is there any specific action that you would want them to focus on with this huge amount of money?
Thank you, Ajay. This is, first of all, I must congratulate the government that they have thought about allocating the money to improve the environment, especially environment on the basis of the agriculture. So I'm very glad that they did that. The question is, there is a law called law of return. And the law of return apply to soil. What it means is whatever you take from soil, you must put it back into the soil. And that law was really developed in India at Indore in 1920, 100 years ago. At that time, we had a British plant physiologist, I think he was based in Indore. He also developed the Indore compost pit. It's very famous. And his name was Albert Howard, Sir Albert Howard. Sir Albert Howard was president of the Indian Science Academy in 1920. And he was the one whose idea was law of return. Whatever you take out of soil, you must put it back, because he was thinking soil health was degrading, and with the degradation of soil health, the human and environment were also degrading. So he developed that compost pit, put all the biomass back, make a compost, it's healthy then, and put a healthy material back onto the soil. Crop residue is a very important commodity. It is turi, as you know, in Punjab, the price of turi is almost half or more than half that of the wheat grain itself. So, but if we take away everything and then we grow rice and then we burn the rice straw, soil organisms are the major component of soil health. A healthy soil should have in the top layer, plow layer, 5 tons of living organism. Earthworm, termites, centipedes, millipedes, microorganism, mesoorganism, fungi, bacteria, everything. 5 tons of it. Organic matter from roots and crop residue is their food. Just like we eat food, they also need food. And the food is the organic matter content. When we take away the crop residue for feeding cattle, we don't put the dung back, we burn the crop residue, the temperature of the soil goes up, it kills those organisms. It's very anti-soil. It's very anti-environment. So I will request all my brothers, sisters, farmers of Punjab, Haryana, UP, India, please do not burn. But I also understand their limitation. They have only 2 weeks to clear the land to plant wheat, because otherwise the spring becomes too hot and therefore the grains begin to. They do not have the facilities to manage the crop residue, therefore they burn. Therefore, what we have to do is to provide them the facility, provide them the harvester that cuts very close to the ground surface, not 1 foot above. It should be able to bale the residue so that you can take it out of the land. And then they should have a proper drill to plant directly without plowing, no till cedar, like a happy cedar.
Like it's
So
working.
we need to provide those facilities. And then the crop residue can be either used to produce energy, like through pyrolysis to make biochar. Biochar can be amended with nutrients and put back into the soil, or we can use crop residue to make as a digester, biodigester. The slurry can be put back on the land. The law of return, the organic matter must go back on the land.
Where
Not everything they can make. And for that, farmers should be provided the facilities, and then farmers who adopt the better practices, they improve the soil quality and they do not burn, they should be compensated properly.
Thank you for that. I would agree with that. I think so. Government of India is investing a lot of money, making sure people have the right machinery to use to do exactly what you're saying. I will take the last question, and this is a question not concerned with soil directly, but concerned with the larger food systems. It is: would you agree with the organization I work with, Bharat Krishak Samaj, that concentration of power in hands of very few large corporations like agriculture input companies, machinery companies, grain aggregators, e-commerce retailers is destroying the sovereignty of farmers, specifically small farmers, and it will destroy the terms of trade that are already not very good today. Would you agree on that? And what do you think we can do about it, about these monopolies that are building up?
Uh, I should first give credit to industry, private sector per se. Uh, Private sector, which helps farmer develop machinery, they help farmer develop irrigation program, they help farmer uh, do processing of the food and create value addition. That kind of industry is needed. That can provide support to farmers, that can create job opportunities, that can create inputs that are needed at a village level, so that kind of industry, which is a farm-based industry, it's a pro-farmer industry that facilitates all those farm operation, is certainly an important thing. So we should not say that we do not need industry. We need industry. We need industry partnership with farmers on the one side, with the scientists on the other side, with the government. These three, four-way cooperation with industry is very critical.
Really?
We also need, so the industry is kind of a outgrowth from the farming itself. You are a farmer, you grow citrus, you need packing industry, you need processing industry, you need juice making industry, you need making marmalade or whatever other things we need. You need those industry. It's a mutual symbiosis. So when something becomes out of the way and begin to control one organization another, monopoly thing, that is not the kind of things we need.
Need.
But a right type of industry, we cannot do without it. We cannot progress without it. In fact, we need something to create job opportunity for farmer so that they can work in the industry, agricultural industry, agro industry, uh, to create off farm income for them, to alleviate poverty. So right type of industry, whether it's a seed type of industry, whether it's a milk industry, whether it's a fruit packing industry, whether it's a vegetable processing, whether it's a grain processing, other are needed. They should be originating from the farm. Farmers should be part of implementing, developing, creating those industry. We need them, they need us. It is a path of progress. We can divorce, but something which becomes controlling and something which is counterproductive, obviously that's not the kind of evolution we need.
Thank you, Dr. Lal. Thank you so much for your inputs. Before we end, I will remind you of this Bollywood song which says "Meri desh ki dharti sona sona ugle." What does it mean for you now? For all those listening in English, it is my nation's soil. we're talking? What does it mean for you before we
I
end? What
think,
what comes to
thank
mind?
you.
What comes to mind?
Thank you very much. I think that song is very, very nice. I really, I'm a generation older than you are. And that was the song movie of that time, which was very, very important. I think many of those songs and concepts and idea are very big motivation for me. I have really learned from them. Yes, this is true that soil is the most basic of all natural resources. And if the soil productivity is neglected, then everything else goes down with it. In fact, rather than talking about just how soil can convert any simple thing into gold, look at what has happened to the past civilization. And you mentioned David Montgomery, his book Dirt, and before that there was another writer called Collapse. Um, they all indicated that whether it was Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, whether it was Mesopotamia, whether it is Maya, Inca, Aztec, they all vanished because they ignored the soil.
Because they ignored the soil. Very right.
And we must take a lesson from them. We now 7.8 billion, going to be 9.8 billion in 30 years from now. You will see it when that happens. And we cannot afford to neglect the soil. Soil is the basic, soil is the life. Soil is the essence of life. In fact, many religions talk about avatar, that where death becomes life again. Almost all religion, the only place in the universe where the death is transformed into life is the soil.
The soil.
It's the soil where the dead bodies is mineralized and the new plants begin to grow and
Grow
life
from it.
starts again. That's one part. The second part, something like Mahatma Gandhi may have said something much more better than I would have said, and that is like this: the hunger and misery creates a fire in the pit of an empty stomach. And that fire is so intense and so ferocious that it can only be quenched by the divine power in a loaf of bread made from grains grown on a healthy soil. And that means to a hungry man, God is bread, roti, food. It's Anna Bhagwan. It's
Sir,
simple as that. And they all come from soil. So soil is the basis not only of economic wealth, but of spiritualism, our well-being, our environment in which they live, the air we breathe, water we drink, and food we eat. We should not take it for granted. We should protect it, cherish it, restore it, and give it to our next generations better than what we got from previous generations.
thank you so much, Dr. Lal. Thank you so much. We look forward to having you with us in Punjab on your next trip to India. Hopefully, everything will improve. 2021 will be a much better year than the year that is be passed very soon. So look forward to seeing you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Thank you for this opportunity, sir. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you everyone for watching. And we'll be back with more webinars, with more interviews, and please stay tuned to us. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.